I kind of just blurted out. I said, "Wait, did you just tell me my daughter's missing?" And he said, "I'm sorry, but yes."
It's a disappearance shrouded in mystery. A college graduate vanishes just moments before she's set to board a plane. At the same time, her fiancé and his 2-year-old daughter also disappear. The little girl's mother now speaking out for the first time since the disappearance of her toddler.
I physically felt my heart like fall and hit the floor. And then I just started to fall apart.
We sat down with Samara Harmon to get her take on the puzzling case.
So Monday I got a call from the police asking about him, and that just kind of gave me like a weird feeling, kind of a weird gut feeling.
Could the disappearances have been part of some master plan?
My head spins constantly. I think of all different kinds of theories, just like everybody else does.
Could the group have crossed the border?
We aren't sure if the spotting in Mexico was real or not. We don't know anything. The police are looking at everything.
And does Samara hold any animosity against her ex and his fiance?
As much as this hurts me, I don't wish anything bad upon anyone.
Plus, she shares a message for her little girl.
Mommy's doing her best, and um yeah, I'm so proud of you, and I love you, and I just want you home.
This is a Law&Crime legal alert. Google Incognito tracked users' browsing data without their knowledge. Mass Tort Alliance, one of our legal sponsors, is helping users file for compensation due to Google users' privacy issues surrounding Google Incognito. If you've used Google Incognito anytime since 2016, you can start your claim in less than 10 questions at incognitoclaims.com/lcnews. The case itself is complicated, involving multiple people, states, and agencies taking part in the search. The latest developments of the case pointing in an international investigation. Now, the case began on May 29th, the last day that anyone involved was seen. That day, 21-year-old Nadia Cole checked in at the Seattle-Tacoma International Airport with her family. Nadia's a recent graduate from Washington State University and was set to celebrate with her family on a trip overseas. But just before she was set to board the plane, Nadia told her mom she was going to the bathroom, leaving behind her luggage and her cell phone. She was caught on surveillance video leaving the airport and hasn't been seen since. May 29th was also the last day anyone saw Nadia's fiancé, 21-year-old Aaron Aung. He was last seen in Pullman, Washington, picking up his 2-year-old daughter, Seraya Aung Harmon. Saraya's mom is Samara Harmon. Can you tell me a little bit about Seraya?
She is I mean, there's not even words to describe it. She's just everything that's right with the world. She's perfect, and she's sassy, and she's funny, and she's so smart, and she's a bit of a diva, but in the best ways possible. Yeah, she's just, I don't know, she's my very best friend.
Samara says it's routine for Seraya to go between her mom and dad because they share custody. How is the relationship? Were you comfortable having Seraya stay with him?
I didn't really have a say in that. I just hoped that it would be okay. Like, the courts had ruled that he was a safe person for her to be around just as much as I was. She obviously loves her dad. She loves me. And I didn't want to be the one to stand in between that. So of course I still did all the custodial exchanges and just hoped for the best, hoped that he was a good father, that he'd stayed being because when we were together he showed that he cared about her a lot, and I just hoped that that was something genuine that continued on even after we split.
But all that changed in late May. And when was the last time that you saw her?
That was Wednesday, the 29th, I believe it was, when I handed her off for a custodial exchange. Um, Usually we have them at 6:30, but her dad was there at 6:14 that day. So she physically left my arms at 6:14.
But was there anything off about Aaron at that time?
So in the moment, I didn't think anything of it, but in hindsight, he did seem a little bit rushed, which was just a little bit out of the ordinary for what he usually does. Yeah, he just seemed a little bit more like he wanted to just go instead of listen to me. Because sometimes when I hand her off, I tell him extra things like, oh, she needs a nap today, or she wants extra dinner. Like she didn't eat much of what we ate at home, so she might be hungry again. She might want to go to bed early. She got her vaccines today. Watch for a fever. Things like that. But that day he didn't really give me time to explain about her condition. He just kind of took the paperwork, took the medicine, took her, and then walked to the truck.
Here's where things get a bit more complicated geographically. The case as a whole is being investigated by the FBI, but local agencies are involved too. Because the last confirmed sighting of Nadia was in the Seattle area, police there are investigating her disappearance. Samara and Seraya are based in Pullman, Washington, near the eastern border of the state. Aaron lives in Moscow, Idaho, just a short drive away. So police in both Pullman, Washington and Moscow, Idaho are also involved in the investigation. Another location gets thrown into the mix because Aaron originally said he and Seraya were headed on a fishing trip to Montana. They were supposed to meet back at the Pullman, Washington police station days later, but they never showed. At what point did you notice something was off? I know you went to collect her and she just wasn't there.
So, yeah, so Monday I got a call from the police asking about him, and that just kind of gave me like a weird feeling, kind of a weird gut feeling. They told me they didn't, one of the officers said that he didn't think it had anything to do with me and that it was about a different case. So I contacted Moscow PD. He said it was about Nadia, um, and that he didn't really have any more information he could share with me, but he requested that I go into the police station to kind of pick up my daughter a little bit earlier than I usually would. So usually when I walk, I try to get there between like 6:10, 6:15, but that day I got there at like 6:05, and an officer came out a little after 6:10, so 6:10, 6:15-ish, and he mentioned that it was about Nadia, that she'd been missing. And then he told me that my daughter and her father went on a camping trip and nobody had been able to get a hold of them. So he wasn't sure they were going to be making it to the exchange. And I kind of just blurted out, I said, wait, did you just tell me my daughter's missing? And he said, I'm sorry, but yes.
An Amber Alert wasn't issued in the disappearance of 2-year-old Seraya because investigators say she probably isn't in imminent danger. They believe Aaron doesn't have intentions to hurt his daughter, but rather to keep her away from her mother. A warrant has since been issued for his arrest for custodial interference in the first degree. What is your first reaction when you hear you're going to pick up your daughter, you think that you're going to be reunited with her, and all of a sudden you hear she's missing, we don't know where she is?
Um, I physically felt my heart like fall and hit the floor. And then I just started to fall apart. But I was trying really hard to kind of stay a little bit calm, not super overreact, so I could still talk to the officer and be understood. Um, so just started asking, are you sure? Like, where could they be? He said, well, we're gonna wait and see if they show up for the custodial exchange. And so I just kept staring at the clock, waiting for 6:30, and then 6:30 came and passed, and I said, how long do we wait? How long do we sit here until we know that they aren't coming? And he told me that he wasn't sure, but that Aaron's parents would be there to deliver a note, to which they showed up a little bit after that with a note, a handwritten note saying that they could be delayed due to weather or supply issues, or even someone sprained an ankle.
That bizarre note didn't provide much clarity into where Aaron and Seraya would be, and pretty quickly investigators connected the dots that Nadia likely met up with the pair and they fled the area. Investigators have since said the group may have fled south of the border to Mexico. That means there probably was no fishing trip after all. But it seems to me that they never made it on this fishing trip to Montana.
Right. I don't know. I just know what the police have told me, which is what they believed at first was the camping trip. Um, then there was later the spotting on Friday of the vehicle registered to his family crossing the border. Um, so they're still searching everywhere, but we aren't certain if he ever went to Montana. We aren't sure if he didn't go to Montana. We aren't sure if the spotting in Mexico was real or not. We don't know anything. The police are looking at everything.
Since her daughter's disappearance, Samara has posted several times to Facebook addressing the situation. In a post made on June 4th, she writes, quote, "My daughter is incredibly sick, and if she's not given the proper medical treatment she needs, it could be fatal."
So she's severely constipated, to the point where the doctor said that if she didn't pass it in soon, she could become septic, which is fatal. So I did hand him the medications that she needed. I did give him detailed instructions on how to help her get through it. And I can only hope he did that because by now she's in that risk area, um, of if she hasn't passed it, she could easily become septic now in a few days, in a few hours, any of that if she hasn't passed it. So I just hope and pray that she's gotten the medicine that she needed and that she did in fact pass it and that she just thinks she's on some fun adventure with daddy and that they're going to be home soon, just any day.
In that same post, she writes, quote, "Please keep my daughter in your prayers, as well as Aaron and Naomi." She mistakenly wrote Naomi, but meant Nadia. Unfortunately, in my line of work in true crime, I cover a lot of stories like this often. And what I thought set it apart is I went on your Facebook and saw some of the posts that you had made. And you said in one of them, prayers and thoughts for Aaron and Nadia. We want Seraya home, obviously, but we're still thinking of them and want them to return safe. And honestly, sometimes that's not what we see. We see people disparaging their former partner, etc. But to me, it sounds like you just want everyone to be brought home safe.
I do, and it doesn't matter my feelings about either Aaron or Nadia. I just they're still someone's children. And as much as this hurts me, I don't wish anything bad upon anyone. And if you know me as a person, you know that I'm not the kind of person who does that, who wishes bad upon anyone, no matter what they do to me. And honestly, I could say whatever I wanted. I could get out there how I truly feel about him or the whole situation, but it doesn't do anything to bring my daughter home. The only thing is just getting everybody to pay attention to everyone involved and just bring all of them home because that's my only hope of seeing my daughter again. So it doesn't matter what I want to say, what I think, any of that. That doesn't matter as far as getting her home. It won't do anything to bring her home.
I asked Samara about her relationship with Nadia, too. As far as Nadia, have you ever met her or do you know anything about her?
No, the only thing I knew was that she was a WSU cheerleader, but even that could be false. It was from a friend of a friend who told me that. I heard that they were together about 10 or so months ago, but it wasn't really my business, so I didn't really ask anything about it. Um, like he'd moved on, I'd moved on. It wasn't a big deal that he was seeing someone else, but to hear that she went missing was terrifying, and then to hear not even 30 seconds later that my daughter was also missing, it was just like I didn't know how to process anything. I didn't really know how to do anything. I just kind of was in disbelief, but reacting at the same time. I don't really know how to explain it. It was just my whole world came crashing down in a matter of seconds. Because my whole walk to the police station, I was so excited to see her, and I was, talking to my family about how she was going to act when I picked her up. I'd brought her teddy bear and her jacket because it was cold and we were going to walk home, and so just to be sitting there next to her stuff and realize that she's not coming home with me was just it. Yeah, I really don't know how to explain it.
There are a lot of unanswered questions in this case, including whether this entire scheme was part of some master plan. I asked forensic expert Heather Mahalik Barnhart to weigh in on this. Could it be something that was masterfully planned?
Absolutely. The timing is just, it's too coincidental, like just a little bit too perfect for the timing of everything. To be completely clean, I think it would have had to been planned for a little bit of time, obviously. Like you can't just say, leave your phone, and they had to have a meeting point because there's no way to communicate. If she had another cell phone on her, her parents maybe have noticed this going through security because you can't walk through with phones in your pockets. So there's so many red flags that people may start to see if this is a true mastermind plan.
I asked Samara about this too, but some people are speculating that potentially Aaron and Nadia had this master plan that they came up with long ago to run off together. What are your thoughts on that?
Honestly, I my head spins constantly. I think of all different kinds of theories, just like everybody else does. I start to spiral, but that doesn't do anything to bring her home. No matter what I think or what I believe to have happened, that's the police will find out. The FBI will find out. They will know the truth. So the only thing that I can afford to think about, that I can afford to um, kind of hope for, is that they are all together, because I do know that Nadia cared for my daughter. And I just hope that they're all together and they're all safe and they'll come home.
Samara says she's hopeful about the situation, that all three missing people will soon be found safe. If by some miracle Seraya is watching this, do you have a message for her?
Um, my message for her would be, oh, I don't even know, that I love her and I can't wait to see her and I hope she's okay, and um, that you probably don't know what's going on right now, but it's okay if you're scared a little bit. Just try and stay calm. I hope Nadia and Daddy are keeping you calm and that you'll be home soon. You're, as I always tell you, you're so tough and there's nothing you can't handle. So I know that you'll be able to get through this too. I didn't want you to have to get through something like this, but I know that you can. And your teddy bears and your block toys and everything are still waiting for you when you get home. I still read your book every night. I've been cuddling your blanket, so none of your stuff misses you. It's all still here. Well, it does miss you, but mommy's doing her best. And um, yeah, I'm so proud of you, and I love you, and I just want you home.
Anyone with information about Seraya's disappearance is asked to contact Pullman or Moscow police. Those with information about Nadia's disappearance are asked to contact the Port of Seattle Police Department. Reporting for Law&Crime, I'm Sierra Gillespie.